All right, so where are you at with this week? Because it's a little bit more cumbersome than last week.
So
Can
this
be
week,
confusing.
um, I feel like I get the gist of it, but what I did still have a couple of questions.
Mm-hmm.
How do we change the nav list to a drop-down menu? He's
Oh, okay.
uh,
So for that one, you're basically using the same principle that you did for the nav list, but it's a little bit different in how you wrap it with the HTML section of it.
okay.
Also, the function that is called, it's different than the one that is used for the nav list, because you're not just asking for the name of the category to populate the links, you're also asking for the ID. And that query is a little bit different. So I'm going to share my screen so you basically see exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, that'd be awesome.
All right, let's see. Share. All right. So I basically ran into that same problem because I was saying, okay, the classifications would get everything for the nav link, right? Because if you look here, you see that this nav list basically builds the navigation and call it classifications. And
Yeah.
that's basically where I put it. Now, I was getting an error constantly saying that the category ID is not accepted. And I was wondering, like, what is this category ID? And that is where the functions are different, because in my main model, I basically have the code. I put it in a function so that I can just call the function wherever. And if you look at the code, you basically see that this nav list is just writing a UL statement and a LI statement. And that's basically all the menu is. So that's basically it. And then if we look into the controller of the actual, uh, let's find the root controller. Basically, we want to find the query, because I haven't looked at this in so long, I don't remember where that query is.
Oh yeah, I had that same
uh,
problem everywhere.
was it?
A little
Should
bit.
be in main model, select classification. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, this one. All right, so basically this query is saying select classification name from car classification and order by classification name. And this will basically is all that the menu needed, right? Now, this particular query that we're doing now in the vehicles model is a bit different, because in this query, you're asking for the classification ID. So basically, I call this get full categories data, because I wanted to make sure that I had the ID as well, because that's all that's in the categories table. And the functions are basically the same. Like the queries, I just copy and paste like the same thing from the top, because they all work, because it's the same prepare statement, the same execute. Basically, nothing really changes other than maybe the variables that you use, right?
Yeah.
So basically, you're using the same functions that you've been using, or the same queries and the same code from the beginning until now. So it's nothing really different other than what you're asking for. So I asked for the classification ID here, which is a bit different from the main model one here.
Right.
And it's basically the same function. I only have green lines between them. I just copied this same function
Yeah.
and dropped it in here,
Yeah.
remove the green stuff, and basically that's it. I
Yeah.
just added this one line, this one section here, get the classification ID. That's all I asked for, extra. So now I have the classification ID, I can now go ahead and build out my actual vehicle. Now, I ended up putting it up here because I was having that error and didn't know what it was, but you can easily move it from here because I planned to move it from here and put it back into the vehicles model because you don't need it here. I had only put it here because I thought that it could not see it within the scope. So I started to panic. So basically you could literally just drop it, grab it from here and put it back into the vehicles model and it would work just the same, or in your vehicles controller basically. So you could drop it right here and it would work just the same. So where it is doesn't really matter as long as the controller is called in the page, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you should remember that this code here, I'm going to copy it so you can see that it's basically doing the same exact thing. All right, so the nav list basically created a UL statement. Then this little dot means you're adding to that statement. Dot equal means you're adding to that statement.
Okay.
And then it creates that LI line, right? Then it goes into the database and says, for each classification that I get, I want to assign it as classification. And then I'm going to assign that into Navlist and put that code in here. So whenever it finds the name, classification name, I'm going to add that to a LI element. And that's all that this code is doing. And then you close the tag after the for each statement. And you basically build a dynamic UL statement. Now you're doing the same principle here. So just like you have the UL here, you do the class list here with a select statement instead. So you open your select statement, you put your title option, like to say, please choose an option. Just like in this one, it basically says view, it's just basically the first LI statement. So now you have your first option statement, and then you say for every single classification that I have, which has a classification ID, which is a classification full, because it's a new one, every one of them, I want to assign it to classification select. So now you're going to write in the for each statement a new options for every single one of them. And once you start doing this process, the only difference is this if is set, which was introduced, because this removes a warning that you would continuously get in the browser. And once you drop this in, because I think we can share code, so I probably just send this to you because yeah, because basically once you write this select statement, it will basically just work out the entire select section, and that's basically all it does. So when you go to, I was doing some research for one of my classes about people who are robbing casinos and stuff.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yes. All right. Let's see. Vehicles. All right. So add new vehicle. So when you do it, you would bam. You would get the names in that select statement, just like that. So I can even walk you through what is there, so you get a side-by-side comparison.
Okay.
All right. So this is a select statement. Now in the code, you see select name, classification ID, and the first option value is please choose, where you see here, please choose.
Yeah.
So that's the first option value. Now for each classification that you find within the classification table, you basically print the classification name. And this is basically where we put the classification name and close the options tag. Because the option tag is open here and closed down here. So the name that we find will be what's encapsulated between the options tab. And this is it right here. And all the names are classic, exotic, sport, super sport, SUV, trucks, and U's. And how some of those got in was because I added a few of my own.
Oh, okay.
So like here, I basically said fire car. So we say add classification and it goes up here immediately. And then basically when you come into here, you will see fire in here. So we'll look, search through the database, find everything and pull it back into the select statement. And basically that's all you're doing. You're just writing an HTML statement within here. And you could probably even not put this if it's set. I just put it there because I was getting that warning and it was kind of annoying me, only to find out that I just didn't have the classification ID in the first place.
Okay.
So that's how you write the select statement.
Okay.
Anything not clear?
I think it's just like slowly trying to sink in, you know?
Yeah. So you just basically look at how this is structured and then you basically rebuild it down here.
So I guess it just like, how did you know that it's a select statement? Like, I don't think I...
Because they said drop down menu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I get
because a UL, a UL and a LI, if you put that on a screen, it might give you like, you could probably format it as a select statement with style sheet, but it wouldn't immediately just become a drop down menu. So basically because they asked for, he showed a drop down, I think in the demo, I just looked at, okay, that's the select statement. So let's use a select statement there.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
So basically his video was the kind of hint that I used.
Okay, that makes sense. And the option tag, see, I think that's where I was like, the select statement to me means the like SQL, like a SQL statement. But
no, it's an actual HTML tag. Yeah.
Okay, so I think where I was getting confused. But okay, so and the option tag is just the list of options that are in
the options under the select statement, under the select tag. I need to stop saying statement, under the select tag. Yeah.
Okay. No problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so my other question was, it seems like, let me look really quick. It says, okay, I think create nav list variable to build a dynamic menu from the classifications and team. Okay, I think I understood the instructions to say, you know how you've got your nav list at the top of the page, the website, you've got home, classic, exotic, fiery, and all of those match now with your categories list, your please choose, your drop down menu. I think what I understood it as, he wanted us to change the nav bar at the top to be a drop down.
No, not at all. No, basically he just wants you to build these two views. Yeah. These two views, add new vehicle classification in the vehicle management and add new vehicle. And once you have this page built, you're going to build these two pages. Okay. And then these two pages would do the insert of the new classification and the new vehicle. I'm having a small error with my classification where it's not seeing this image URL for some reason. So I need to go in and troubleshoot it. And that's basically where I'm at now to finish up the project. Okay. So, but so like
drop down list is that right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the drop down list right here.
But it also needs to be updated in the nav bar.
Yeah, because once you add a new category, your nav bar will reflect that. So do the classification first because it's very easy to do. You don't have to do any select statements for the classification. So let me just give you, let's show you how simple it is. So basically you have one input, which will take the classification name because it's the only thing that you can put into the classification table because ID is dynamic.
Right.
So you wouldn't add the ID, you would add only the name. and then you basically put your button, your submit button, and your hidden button to go to the controller. And basically, this is just like the registration you did last week.
Yeah.
It's the same exact process. You're basically doing the same thing. So what I did, to be clear on it, I basically opened those 3 registration files and just replicated what I did last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're doing the same exact thing you did, right? It's just that because they throw in a few little complexities, it might seem different, but it's really not.
Okay. Okay, so that makes sense. Let me look. My other question. Okay, that got answered. Oh yeah, that was my other question. Okay, so would it be okay if I shared my screen really quick?
Yeah. Let me stop sharing.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, so no, not that one. This one. Okay, so these were my questions that you just answered.
Mm-hmm.
But
Let me also send you that code, because I think the professor just doesn't want us to do each other's work, but as long as you understand the concept of it.
yes.
So even if I send you the code, try to write it yourself. Just,
and that's
yeah.
what I did with all the activities this week, because I could have copied and pasted, but I was like, I really want to write.
Always try to write them yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put the instructions with it so that you basically know what is happening.
Okay. Okay, so you have on here where okay, so this is just really simple, that I feel like maybe if I...
All right, so I put it in the chat so you can have a look-see at it.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so
you say, how do we make the classification name visible but not the classification ID? Yeah, that's in the same statement. Basically, both of your questions are in the same select statement.
Yes.
And that's because, as I was explaining, my puppy wants to let me check if he's okay.
Yeah, no problem.
One thing. Okay. All right. So
okay,
basically, as I was explaining, you would need to write the exact same select statement that you did for the nav list. In that, I think it's in your main model. Go in your main model.
Okay, sorry, 1 second. Let me just, because that chat will go away.
Yeah, it will go away.
Just a minute. So I was just copying that. Okay, so I do understand this, and I understood that like as you were going through that, but well, and on your code, it's like right. I think it's right here is where you tell it.
Yes.
See the classification name, but the classification ID.
Yeah, because if you look, because remember, the variable that is getting passed here is the classification full, right? And that is the one that has everything. And for each statement, we're going to use classification select to copy every single name and ID.
Yeah.
And that's why the classification select now has the classification name and the classification ID, but we don't need the ID to be shown. We only need the name to be shown.
Yeah.
So So I could actually show you how that works.
Okay, really fast. I'll let you share the screen and you can go through that.
Yeah.
This is just a simple question that I should be able to get.
All right, but before I share mine, all right, just show me exactly what you're trying to, where you're trying to figure it out from.
I don't think I've made. Let me see. Vehicle.
All right, so your vehicle management has the 2 links.
Okay, so this is my page, but so how do you get this page to show up by just having
Oh,
this?
I see what you're doing wrong already. Go back. All right. Do you see where that PHP motors is? That accounts should be vehicles.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
And then once that is fine, we're basically going from the, 1 second, train. Let me mute this quick onto the.
No problem. I used to live by a train. That's really close, though. That's a really close train.
Yeah, I can actually look out the window and see it passing.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just glad they only run through the day, because if they ran during the night, I would go crazy.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
All right, so once you've set it up here, we need to go and check in your vehicles controller if
Okay.
your switch has it.
Oh,
And I
I
don't see a switch.
Okay, I need my. Okay, I'll add that. I'll add that on my own because I want to really.
No, just copy the main model switch. This is real quick. You don't need to. So copy that action section too.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. So just grab that. And you're basically dropping that. All right, great. So now you're basically going to give that name there, that template name.
Oh wait, I guess I don't.
No, not the name of the page, whatever you call it as on the links. So this would be vehicle man, and whatever you call the.
I haven't called it anything yet.
No, you have. Go back to the add vehicle.
Okay. Wait,
No, vehicle man. Go back into vehicle man. Sorry, my bad.
Okay, don't tell me. Let me figure this.
There it is.
Okay, I don't know.
You see where it says action equals add vehicle? That's what you call it, add vehicle.
Where's my action?
In the URL, index.php question action. That's the variable there.
Okay.
And the add classification is the other one.
Isn't that going to take me to this view, like where we add, okay, add a vehicle. So like that link should take me to this page, not like I want to get to
that page. Yeah, exactly. So it wouldn't be vehicles man either, because you're actually on the vehicle man page.
Okay. So I don't get it.
So that would be add vehicle. And then we're going to basically change that URL to the add vehicle. What did you call it? Add vehicle? Yeah, okay. I don't think you have a dash in between it, so remove the dash there.
I have a dash right here.
No, that's the page. So the variable is not the page. So remember that the variable is not the page.
Okay, you're right. I get it.
All right, so the variable is not the page. So you want to create another case statement for your categories.
Yeah.
And that was add classification. then you include, yep. And that one is called, did you create that page already? Add classification?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it looks like much. But oops,
One sec, let me see what's happening in my yard because
no problem.
it look like him hungry, Trevor. You know if you mix it up with him? Yeah, the puppy is hungry, so he keeps coming up here because I'm always the one feeding him.
Okay.
But he's only allowed on the veranda if he wants to get in the house.
Yeah. Okay, so I put that my default view is gonna be
Going back to the vehicle man. Perfect. That's the right way. That's it set up properly.
it's got something wrong.
If anything is wrong, it would tell you. So it says failed. So view vehicle man. Okay, so what we're gonna do is go into the controller, go up to the top, and up here where it says require once, you need to actually put your vehicle controller there. Wait, before you do that, let's see. So you can't open the stream because you're in your vehicle's controller now, right?
I'm in my vehicle's controller. Yeah, this is my.
Yeah. All right. So forget that. So if it can't open the stream, it's not seeing what you're calling. That's the only possible reason it wouldn't see it. So it says it cannot see view vehicle warning, include view fail to open stream. No such file or directory. All right. Could you put one sec? Let me look because I think I also hit this error at one point. Let me just make sure. Okay, could you put a dot in front of your a dot because you're like one folder up?
On the view.
Yeah, so put the dot slash.
Okay.
All right, save it. Try again.
Ta-da!
Yeah, because you're basically one folder up and you wanted to basically get out of the folder and go into each one.
Look at that.
All right.
Menu, but it's not dynamic yet.
Yeah, not yet, but you'll get it soon because you now have all the means to do it.
Yes. Okay, this is really exciting. Thank you.
All right, so basically you just need to set up your ad classification page first.
Okay, that is really easy.
Yeah, because once you set up your ad classification, you now have the ability to add to that menu dynamically, and you basically have the other one completed. You only need to add the dynamic select statement after.
Okay.
So you're basically done, really.
Well, I've got a ways to go, but this is a really good start. And
yeah, you've had most of it done. The only thing you had missing was your switch statement.
Yes.
And basically that's it. You didn't have your switch statement.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna stop recording. I think. Figure this out. How about I stop sharing first? Now